Our topic is Teach Number Bonds, Not Addition and Subtraction, the Singapore Math. This is what we'll be looking at today, and we'll be explaining how this concept called number bonds have been of great and immense help to helping children develop number sense. But before we start, let's ask this question. At what age should a child solve these math problems conveniently? Less than 5 years? 5 to 7 years? 8 years above? Any other year? I'll give you some seconds to look through this. I tell you, it depends solely on the content in which the child have in himself or herself, not the age. So at any age, if the child has developed the number sense to make this work, he will solve this problem conveniently, irrespective of the age, maybe 3, 10, 20, or whatever. And that is the sole reason why we're having this training. So that wherever our children, wherever their levels are, they can start integrating number sense and number facts and number bond skills into their mathematics vocabulary. So they can solve problems involving numbers and all math operations successfully. Okay, I'm still waiting. Some people are typing in the answers. Thank you. Okay, like I said, it depends on the content of number bond skills that child has in himself or herself. Let's go on. I'm Benga Oyebajo. I am a data analyst and a mathematician and educator to the core. I've been teaching for almost 2 decades and making teachers to understand the rudiments of integrating technology into the teaching and learning environment. I have my first degree in mathematics education, second in statistics and data analysis. I've helped so many corporations to help to reach decisions with data, and I've helped institutions and schools to build a strong workforce, strong teaching skills to help the children learn the 21st century materials and ability to integrate ICT into the teaching and learning process. Okay, that's enough of me. Our expectations are clear. We will learn how number bonds can help children with math. We will learn the 5-stage Singapore math approach to number bonds. We'll extend the number bond concept to more advanced and logic calculations. We will also talk about our number bonds math application and how you can download it for free to help children build their number sense and solve mathematics effortlessly. Okay, number bonds, number bonds, number bonds. What are number bonds? Number facts and number sense. This is the core of our learning in this webinar. Number bonds are pairs of numbers that can be added together to make another number. Like we have in this example, 2 and 3 gives 5. 2 numbers coming together to make a bigger one. Number bond shows how numbers can split or combine. They reflect the part-whole relationship of numbers. Simply put, it breaks down number into its smaller constituents, and it can also help us put the smaller numbers together to get a bigger number. So every number can be split into whatever part, and that's where number bonds come in. It helps us to talk about the components that make up a number. Now, number bonds and Singapore math. Number bonds are an essential component when teaching the Singapore method of math mastery. It helps them to foster number sense in students, and they are an important concept in the Singapore primary curriculum. In short, it has been regarded as one of the best ways to teach math concepts like addition and subtraction. So instead of going into adding and subtracting, instilling number bonds concepts in the children is the way to go for them to have an awesome and a brilliant mathematical foundation. Singapore found out this trick and they are using it brilliantly, and they have outperformed their peers in all developed and developing countries in the subject of mathematics and sciences. The research are there to tell us all of this. And this is their secret. They design children with number bond concepts right from the get-go. And the children grow up with this sense, and they begin to apply the number bond concept to solve more complicated and abstract mathematics. Mathematics has been taught more visually in Singapore school. They use counting blocks, techniques, number bonds, and help students see and learn math with better understanding. Recent years, they have, inculcate visual stuff into the school curriculum. The counting blocks and the technique of number bonds that we are talking about is the foundation with which they build others. Now, how do we teach number bonds? We're going to approach this using the 5-stage Singapore method to number bonds. 5-stage Singapore approach to number bonds. The first, concrete step. Children start out by counting familiar real objects that they can relate with. As the name sounds, concrete. These concrete steps means children will use objects to build up numbers and to break numbers into their constituent parts. Let's take an example. Like we said, number bond is a part-whole relationship. That means a whole, which could be any number, being split into different parts. Like we'll take an example. Let's say we have 5 counters here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these 5 put together can be regarded as a whole. So what do? We want to break it into 2 different parts. So a child picks the 5 counters and does it in his or her own way. Maybe put 2 here and 3 here. And you know what this tells the child? 5 is 2 and 3. Another time, 5 is a combination of 2 and 3. Another child can say, okay, I want to put 1 here and 4 here. This still sums up to 5. So 5 can be 2 and 3, can also be 1 and 4. And it can be 0 and 5. So 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 0 and 5 all sums up to 5. Another child can do 2 and 3. Another one can do 3 and 2. Another one can do 4 and 1. Another child can say, no, it's not 4 and 1. It is 5 here, 0 here. This concept of using real-life objects to break down whole into its constituent parts is the concrete part of teaching number bonds. using real-life objects and having the children to break it down into its constituent parts. So the children begin to form the number sense that for every number, there are different combinations to arrive at that same whole. 0 plus 5, 3 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 1 plus 4, 4 plus 1, 5 plus 0, all sums up to give us just the number 1. This begins to build number sense and number fact in the children. So the children start to see that a number can be broken down to a smaller part. So instead of teaching the child to count, or just add up, the child is figuring out for himself combinations of numbers that sums up to a bigger whole. So a child has 10, he can break down 10 into say 5 and 5, 6 and 4, 1 and 9, 8 and 2. Having the knowledge of number bonds in this way will make the child know what to do per time in terms of adding up numbers, or subtracting numbers, or putting numbers together to get a bigger one. This is the foundation and the basics of number concepts in children, building their number skills, breaking bigger number into smaller ones, and joining smaller ones into bigger ones. Now we go to the next, the pictorial step. This is the stage 2, where children progress to writing number bonds in workbooks or on whiteboard or blackboard, as the case is. Now, this is connecting pictures to depict number bonds. The previous one was using objects, real-life objects. Now, we are going to draw some pictures to show number bond. Remember, number bond is a whole part arrangement. Now, let's take some examples of how to achieve this stage of learning and teaching number bonds with pictures. We can have a part whole drawing again, where you have two parts connecting to a whole. So the one down here is the whole, and we have part 1 and part 2 here. So we want to see pictorially how we can connect a whole, say 10, into its constituent parts. In this case, 2 parts. Let's say we have 1 here. The concept of number bond is to figure out the other number, the other part that makes up the part that was given to get the whole. Now the child begins to do addition and subtraction together to know what do I combine with 1 to get 10. And with the basics of the child in concrete, the child figures it out to be 9. That I only need to put 9 here and 1 here, so that 1 with 9 gives 10. In other words, 10 can be broken down into 1 and 9. Not long, the child will figure out that if a 2 is here, then an 8 will be there. 3 is here, 7 will be here, 4, 6, 5, 5, 6, 4, 7, 3, 8, 2, 9, 1, 10, 0. The child begins to check and find out all combinations that can sum up to 10. And if a child is versed and sound with this combination, the child is good to go. In the abstract stage, this is when the child has already learned the concrete aspect. The child has learned how to use picture to show the relationship between numbers, and now he or she can begin to solve direct math problems. So what does a child begins to learn at this stage? The child now develops the concept of breaking down numbers into its constituent part. So he can begin to solve questions like 2 plus dash equals 20. The child begins to figure out the numbers that make up a bigger number. The child can begin to learn dash plus 3 equals 10. And it begins to solve these problems at this stage. At this stage, the child has already, formed the whole part relationship of numbers, and he begins to solve problems by writing down in his book. Say the child now begins to solve problem like 5 plus dash equals 10, and begins to figure out the missing part of a number bond concept. This is the abstract stage. Now, quickly, before we go to the next part, in 2 minutes, I want us to do something very fast. I want you to take your pen. I have a gift for you. Take your pen. It's quiz time. You are going to type your answers in the chat room to these simple 10 quick number bond questions. I'm going to give you a minute to get ready. If you are ready, just type ready. Can you just type I'm ready? And if you can hear me clearly, just type I'm ready, I'm good to go. Awesome. Busola Akredulu is ready for us. Just 10 simple, quick number bond questions. All right, let's do this together. Ready? Let's go. You have 5 seconds for each of the questions. Just quickly write down your answers as we'll figure out the other parts of this whole as regards to number bonds concepts. 2 plus something is 11. Just write it down. The next question, something minus 11 is 20. Five seconds gone. Awesome. The next one, 4 plus something is 9.1. Who's the first person to figure this out? 4 plus something is 9.1. Yes. Question 4. 4 plus minus 9 is something. Four plus minus 9 is something. Going, question 5. 7 minus 6 is equal to some number. What is the answer? If you could get 10 out of 10, you have a big gift to receive from us. That's question 5. 7 minus 6 is equal to a number. The next one, a number plus 7 equals minus 6. A number plus 7 equals minus 6. That's question number 6. Awesome. I can see Adewale, Busola, Samar working it out. Beautiful. Question number 7. 4 minus a number equals 17. 4 minus a number equals 17. Beautiful. Going. All right. Question number 8. 1.9 plus a number equals 7.7. 1.9 plus a number equals 7.7. Good job, everyone, attempting this quickly. Now, question 9. 1.2 minus a number equals 20. 1.2 minus a number equals 20. 1.2 minus a number equals 20. And the last question, question 10. 15 minus a number equals minus 20. 15 minus a number equals minus 20. What is that number? Fifteen minus a number equals minus 20, and that is the last question and the end of this quiz. Well done, you've done so well. If you got 10 out of 10, you have a big gift from us. Just stay tuned till the end and you have your awesome gift. Thank you for attempting this. You know, this is what number bond builds in your children. They begin to automatically provide answers to questions like this because they know how numbers form and how they relate together. So they can break a bigger number down and they can put smaller numbers together to make a bigger one. That is the beauty of number bonds. Now let's go to well done, everyone, for attempting those questions. All right, okay. If you got 10 over 10, you will know soon. Let me share with you the answers to all these questions. Just use this answer to mark your work. So number 1 is 9, number 2, 31, number 3, 5.1, number 4 is minus 5, number 5 is 13, number 6 is minus 13, number 7 minus 13, number 8, 5.8, number 9, 18 minus 18.8, and number 10 is 35. All right, okay. We can see that we have the concrete step section, we have the pictorial section, and also we have the abstract. Now the next stage is the advanced step. The next stage is the advanced step. Now, what do we do in this advanced step? All right, the advanced step. Are we there? So, in this advanced step, all that the child does is to take the number bond skill that he or she has learned over time and uses it to attempt to solve a bigger problem or more advanced problem. For instance, like we have on the screen, 297 plus 60. A child will use number bond skill to know that 297, the 7 behind it, if I add a 3 to it, it becomes 10. So he can quickly build in his head that 297 can be, let me just take away 3 from that 60, add it to 297 to make it 300, then I will have 57 left. So 357 gives me 357. So a child that has developed number bond skill would not need to necessarily try to solve this question, but we figure it out in his head and come out with answers straight away because he or she has built his number sense beautifully. So instead of writing 297 plus 60 and begins to solve and solve, all the child does is to remove 3 from 60, add it to 297, and that becomes 300. Then he has 57 left. And beautifully, he arrives at the answer without counting or calculating. That is another beauty of the number bond. All right, for instance, a child has his number 248 plus, say, 37. 248 plus 37. And that child just begin to think in his head, how will 248 and 37 relate together? So instead of doing it in the conventional way, the child just removes, because this is 8, and the child knows that the number bond of 8 to get 10 is 8 plus 2. The child just removes 2 from here, put it here, and this becomes 250. This will have 35 left, and this put together will be 285. These are what goes on in the head of the child because he has built his number bond sense and is applying it to more advanced steps, and that child automaticity begins to improve. All right, then we move on to the next step, which is the games and app step. The games and apps step. Now, we can engage children with game-based and highly intuitive applications that let them build this number bond concept. So it becomes an automated thing to them, and they don't have to struggle to find solutions to answer. Okay, that means games and applications, so many of them, will help the children build and foster this number bonds relationship by, having two numbers holding up onto one, like I have on the screen. This says 2 plus a number gives 10, and there is a number counting down. The children begin to look at 10 as a whole and look for a way to break it down into 2 and its constituent parts. And due to that reason, we got you covered. We have the number bond math app that we have developed to help children build and instill this number bond concept. At the end of this training, we will be giving out some apps for free, our number bond app for free, such that you can use it with your children to help them build this number sense. All right, let's quickly talk about this number bond application that we want to share with you. Hi everyone, this is a quick demo on the use of my number bond application. All right, this is the interface of the number bond. It has 3 main tabs: the number bond tab, the multiplication drill tab, and the mental sum tab, and 3 boxes to input answers accordingly. And here we have the timer On this part, we have the solution summary. When you click, you get a summary to all the solution. Here you have the start button if you want to start the timer, and this is the stop button to stop the timer. Here you can change the user by clicking it and selecting another user. Here when you click, you bring up the number pad to do your sum. Alright, let's get started. So I want to do number bond. I click, set up my timer as the case may be. Decimal place up to 2, the math operation you want to work with, and number sum you are working with. So you can choose any of your choice. Then you click update. When you click update, everything updates automatically. So if I click the start button, it asks me, am I ready to take 10 quick questions? I click OK, and let's go. I input my answer correctly, you can see.
Correct.
So I'm working within the time. When the time elapses, it changes the question automatically. So the child needs to work fast to meet up with a timer.
Correct. 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 Correct.
Correct. So after the 10th question, it will give me a summary of everything that I've done.
You got 10 out of your 10 questions.
Excellent.
Excellent. That was a fantastic performance. Keep it up.
So it celebrates you when you get all the questions correctly. Oh, I hope this is a good demo. So when you get yours, you can work on it. Alright, I'm going to open the number bond application on my laptop, and we will see how the children can take the number bond concept to solving a higher mathematical problems. I've already downloaded the application on my screen, on my computer, and this is how it is. If you download it on your system, please note that it works only on PC and laptop. So if you download it, this is how the interface is. This is how the interface is. You have the number bond button, you have the multiplication drill button, you have the mental sums button, and when you click the number bond button, you set the decimal place you want to work with, let's say decimal none, 1 or 2, depending on the level of the child. So for the math operation, you can set addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, whichever one you want the child to work with. Also, you can set the number sum, the bigger number, that's the whole you want to work with. For instance, let me put it at 10, and which number you want to be missing. The concept is one of the two parts will be missing, and the child figures out the missing one. So you can select which one you want to be missing, the second or the third. Then we can set a timer to any number. Then when you click update, all your settings update automatically. And as you can see, there is a 7 plus a missing number equal to 10. So the child figures out the missing number. So you can either use the number pad on the right bottom corner to type your answer. In this case, I'll type 3 and click enter. When you click the correct answer, it tells you correct if your answer is correct. And you can also use your keyboard to type the answer. Just type the number on the keyboard. So if the child press reset, another question comes up. As long as the child press reset, another question comes up based on the criteria that you have set. Then the child begins to attempt to answer the question, type the question and clicks enter. When you click enter, the app tells you correct if you are correct and incorrect if you are not. So you can change your answers. And if the child is good to go after clicking reset and learning over time, then the child can now click on this start button to start 10 random quick questions that will count down based on the time. If I click OK now, it begins to give me question and I begin to solve within the time space. If you don't put an answer, the time goes off and the question goes away. And when you are done, it will sum up all the answers you got correctly and gives that child a medal, tells the child, oh, you have done well. You got 10 out of 10, so you have this medal to yourself. I have set 10 seconds countdown. That's why it's counting down from 10. So this helps to build the children's mental skill and mental strength. And they begin to solve math in their head without trying to count and do all of that, because over time they have built their number sense and they have built their number bond skill. And this application helps them foster that and cement it such that they'll begin to use the concept for greater tasks in mathematics. So this is the 7th question. You know, I've set it that the numbers should sum up to 10 and the second number should consistently change so that the child begins to figure it out. Imagine a child very vast with all number bonds that sums up to 10. That child can do any harder or greater concept of math successfully. All he needs to do is to use the abstract sense that we just learned, the advanced sense, to bring out a number from another number, add it up, and flesh it together to get whatever he or she is trying to figure out. So after the 10th question, it will tell you the answers to all your 10, and if you are correct in all the 10, the child will be given a medal and the child will be celebrated. There will be a song, there will be a celebration, a dance, and a medal will be given to the child. The medal keeps on adding up as the child keeps on getting 10 questions correctly. So if a child is versed with number bond to 10, you can reduce the time or increase the concept to any level. And this application can be used by children of all grade level. You just need to set up their settings. You can do subtraction, multiplication, addition, whatever number you can sum it up to. Whatever number, you can set your timer to whatever you want. And as the child is progressing, you'll be reducing the timing and all of that. So we can do to 2 decimal places. You can do minus, you can do plus, you can do multiplication and division of all these concepts. All you just need to do is click on reset, the question keeps resetting and the child keeps figuring out the missing ones. That is that for number bond. This application does not stop there. He also helped the children to build their multiplication drill. So when you click the multiplication drill tab, it brings out this dialog box. So it says you want to work with times table of what? Let's say you want to work with times table of 7. And what do you want your largest number to be? Let's say 12. And do you want positive or negative question? You can set both positive and negative. Do you want decimal? You can set your decimal. Do you want which one do you want to be constant? And all of that, you can set the timer. And when you click OK, it begins to give you multiplication drill of 7 that will not go beyond the bigger number you have set. So when you click on reset, it keeps changing the number and the child keeps solving and keeps providing answers without necessarily cramming the multiplication table. So the child over time figures out all numbers that multiplies to 7 and what they give us. And that keeps on building over time. Remember I said it can be used by children of any grade level. So I can set negatives and it begins to give me negative numbers. Imagine minus 11.80 times 7. So in his head, the child begins to solve these numbers and keeps on clicking reset. And if you are good to go, then you click on start to start the random numbers questions. So what if the child gives an incorrect answer? Okay, for instance, if the child gives an incorrect answer, let's say 34, it tells the child incorrect, try again. So if you are still within time, if you have set up the time for yourself, if you are still within time, the child can quickly erase and put the number. Otherwise, that question skips to the next. And the application tells you, you hear incorrect when you get a wrong answer. And that's about multiplication drill. He also has the third part, which is called mental sums. In these mental sums, what you do here is you look at the parts and the child begins to form the whole with which the two parts sums up to. For instance, I can say my maximum value for value 1 is, let's say, 20. Don't forget, you can set any number. And my maximum number for this can be, let's say, 50. So I'm telling the app, make my first value not more than 20, my second value not more than 50, and I want it to be positive or negative. When you choose negative, it adds up positive and negative numbers together. So you select that number, decimal place, you can say none, 1 or 2. What operation do you want to work with? Let's say plus. You can do plus, minus, times, and divide. Then you click update. So it begins to give numbers within that range that you have specified. And all the child needs to do is provide the answer. Then when you click reset, it changes the question and it keeps on going. Don't forget, you have also set a target for how big the number should be. So it keeps on changing and making that child to be mentally fit and build its logic sense on how numbers relate, how smaller numbers combine together to get a bigger one, and how bigger numbers can be broken down into its smaller constituents. So With this application, children can successfully learn their number skills and build their automaticity by relating with this application. We can set to minus, plus, division, and subtraction. You can even set negative numbers such that children of higher class can begin to relate with this. If you remember some questions I asked you from the beginning, ask some questions like this, like what we have on the screen. Minus 2 minus 34. If a child has been relating with this over time, the child begins to solve these problems effortlessly, and you will begin to transfer the knowledge to more complicated and complex math problems. So simply put, in the course of this training, we have learned what number bonds is, which can be tagged as the breaking down of numbers into its constituent parts and join them together to form the bigger number. We have learned the 5 stages of the Singapore math, which are the concrete stage, the pictorial, the abstract, the advanced, and the use of apps and games. So these have over time helped the Singapore children to build number sense fast. That is why a child of 7 can do brilliant and awesome stuff with numbers, because they build this from their childhood. They break down numbers and they work with applications like this, and they learn math, and the automaticity sticks into their head, and they do great things with mathematics. So at this stage, you can download the free version that it's a 7 days free version. You can download it on that link that is being scrolled on your screen. And for those of you that have registered with us, we are going to send it to your email address if you want to, so you can download this and test it out and see how it works and how children can learn from it. Don't forget, it's an offline application. It doesn't need the internet to work, but it runs only on PCs and laptops. But if you need the unlimited version that has no limitations and contains all this aspect, the ones I just shared with you on the screen is the unlimited version. The 7 days limited version has some limitations, but if you want the unlimited version, you can get it at half of the price today by just clicking the link and just getting it today, and you get it half of the price, and all our applications are there to you can enjoy them at half of the price. I'm going to share these links with us in the chat room so we can click and check them out and enjoy the beauty of mathematics. Okay, for the free version, I'm going to share that too on the chat box, so you can access this application and use it for your children to build their number sense and number bond skill. At this juncture, if you have any question, you can quickly ask in the chat room while I provide answers to them. And if you miss out on this live coverage, you will definitely get the replay on YouTube, and we'll share it with you if you have signed up with us. Okay, I have a question. The question says, what happens if they miss it and the time runs out, is it classified under incorrect or missed answer? It is classified under incorrect. It is classified under incorrect. So that child will not be given a mark for that question. So any other question? Okay. Can you have a short review of abstract number bonds? Alright, let me quickly go through the abstract part again so that I can help out with this part. If I have 347 plus, say, 60, plus 60. Now, a child that has developed number bond skill and sense will not necessarily arrange, the normal way, arrange and begin to add from right to left and all of that. What that child does is this. The child knows that 7 bonds with 3 to make up 10. 7 bonds with 3 to make up 10. What it does is, the child will just remove 3 from here, add it to this 7, and this one becomes 10. And if this becomes 10, it's like adding 3 to 47. This becomes 350. And if you have removed 3 from here, what do you have left? You have 57. So in his head, he has summed this up to a round figure, removing it from this. So what the child just does in his head is to add up these two numbers and you have your answer. So the child just puts 50 and 57 to get 7, 0, and 4. All this will be done in the child's head because over time the child has built number sense and how numbers relate. So this is used for a greater task and for solving higher mathematics. Okay, K. Smith says, abstract number review, 248 plus 37, the child will just do 8 plus 2, which gives 10. So we split 37. Okay, let me put this on the screen. K. Smith, abstract number review, 248 plus 37. Yes. So we split the 37 into 2 number. Awesome. Into 2 and 35. And that becomes 250. Then we add beautiful. Beautiful. All this is done in the child's head. Now, which is a quicker process as they are working to make tens clearer numbers. Now, what this does is the child knows the relationship between the numbers and it begins to remove from here and put it here to make a 10 of this number. And when you have a 10, the next number is easier to add up. And that's what makes it swifter and faster for children to answer math problems. Okay? Okay, Helen says, thanks. Okay. Thank you too for sticking around. Thank you for the answers to my queries. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, you can download the 7-day free version of NumberBond app on this link, while you can also get the unlimited version on this link. Okay, as we wrap up, thank you, K. Smith, thank you everybody that has been a part of this training. I'm so glad to have you, and if you want it for your school or for your educational institution, just reach out to us via email. If you want to get it in large quantity, reach to us via this email. I'm going to share this on the screen now. You can reach us via mail, and also go to our website. Go to our website to download all our applications. They are there for you to download. And like I said, we have free versions, and we have the full version, the unlimited versions, to be downloaded at 50% off today, and as soon as you can do that. And let's begin to build math foundations in our children and build their math sense, and let children enjoy math again. Gone are those days that mathematics is a problem to children, but nowadays, with the help of some of our applications, we have been able to break down these concepts, and everybody can enjoy math again. Thank you for your time, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being a part of this training. We'll keep in touch, and also keep in touch, and we'll get back to you with another interesting insight into the world of numbers and the world of mathematics. Thank you, and God bless you.